On today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, we'll talk about topics like Trump proposing no tax for people under $150,000 a year. We'll talk about the Boston mayor's refusal to accept that they have a problem in their state. We'll talk about USAID employees shredding classified documents, Trump's proposed tariffs on champagne because of tariffs on whiskey, all that, much more coming up on today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. We'll talk about topics like Donald Trump proposing tariffs on champagne in the EU, $150,000 or less and you wouldn't get taxed in America now, KJP finally breaking her silence on the secrets of the Biden regime. We'll talk about the Boston mayor's refusal to accept responsibility for the harm they've caused in their city. All that, much more coming up on today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, starting now.
The moment is here. This is our moment.
America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. This is episode 34. I already told you guys about my topics, so I'm going to go on right into them. My first topic, I want to talk about Donald Trump's proposal for no federal income tax for earners under $150,000. This has been extremely popular so far. A lot of Americans are extremely excited about this. Not only would it put money back in, your average American's pocket, but it will continuously stimulate the economy by providing more funds to these people. I really think that this is a great idea. I love the idea of lowering taxes and eliminating taxes wherever we can, especially income tax. I think people, working their entire lives, paying taxes on that is not necessarily fair, especially the way our tax dollars have been spent over time by the United States government. So I think this is something that is probably just the start of an idea and not the full finished plan. I'd like to see the full finished plan as they keep coming out with more information on it. But this will be something that will benefit almost every American. This is something that will, even if you don't fall in this, if you make over 150,000, it will still benefit you because the economy will be better, stocks will go up, different things like that as more people have more money. I think our government is doing a great job right now of getting the budget under control because it was so out of control for so long. Not only is that imperative for the growth of our country and the success and survival of our country, but it is, like I said, it's not only crucial for that, but it's very important to the American people to have a strong nation that is not wasting their tax dollars. Every single person who goes to work every day and pays taxes out of their paycheck or is 1099 and pays taxes, whatever it is, and then they see the numbers of what our tax dollars are being spent on, it's definitely very upsetting. So this is a great start for Donald Trump's presidency. This is a great idea that I think will flourish into a law or a bill. I really think this one will pass. And I'd like to see the full finished plan as it comes out. Right now, they've really just proposed the idea, and they said they are working on the plan right now. And one of the things about the plan I'd love to see is how they're going to offset the loss of the income tax revenue from people who earn less than $150,000 a year, because it is important that our country does stay well funded through taxes and through things like that. I do think most of the funding should come through tariffs, not taxes. But if we are going to eliminate part of the taxes, I do want to make sure that we're not going to be putting our country in a bad spot because of it. So when they come out with the full plan, I'm going to keep you guys updated. They don't have that yet, but as they do, I will definitely let you guys know. I want to go on to our next topic. This one's a video I'm going to show you guys. I've showed you guys a lot of videos like this before, but every time I see one, I'm going to pop it up for you guys. But another TikToker has now threatened to kill Donald Trump again. It's very sad that not only are, 20 and 30-year-olds just pissing away their lives on social media and just complaining about politics, different things like that, but it's really sad that they're threatening the life of the president, someone who's working hard to make America great again. Threatening anybody's life is not okay, but especially the president of the United States. And then posting about it, it goes to show how low your IQ really is. When you post a TikTok saying that you're going to commit a horrific crime like that, you would be really dumb to think, like I've talked about in previous episodes, that it's not going to end up in the hands of some form of intelligence. It's not going to end up in the hands of the FBI, some form of police, whoever it is. Someone's going to find that, and you will be investigated and most likely arrested for threats against the president's life, which is not legal. I'm going to pop the video up for you guys right now, and then we'll talk about it right after.
Alright guys, we're about 6 weeks in. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna take one for the team and do it? And I'm not gonna say what it is, because I know that you know that I know what we're all thinking. Who's gonna do it? It can't be me. I'm a dance teacher. I got things to do. But somebody's gotta do it. Someone's gotta take one for the team. Because we're 6 weeks in. I can't do 4 more years of this, guys.
We have a mental health crisis in our country, and it's very apparent when you see videos like that. I was wrong in the beginning when I was saying that she was the one saying that she was going to kill Donald Trump. After watching the video again, it was her saying that she wants someone to, which again, still just as bad. But it's just utter delusion when she's like, I can't do 4 more years of this. 4 more years of what? 4 more years of things getting cheaper for you. 4 more years of having a safer country with less crime. 4 more years of record low inflation. What can't you do? I'm genuinely confused. The things that these liberals think they're missing out on because Donald Trump's president is delusion. And it all stems from the media lying to the American people continuously. The liberal left media has continuously skewed the truth and lied time and time again. And it's not okay. And it's pushing, I mean, it's not directly pushing people to do things like that. When people do things like that, it's very extreme. But it's pushing them to limits that they haven't been to before. And when we're consistently watching videos on TikTok of people saying that they want to eliminate the president, we know we're in a, I mean, again, it's a very weird, dark place we're in right now, and I hope we can move past it, and I hope our media is able to stop lying and propagandizing the American people. But until then, we're going to continuously see things like this, because the media is painting Trump and Elon Musk to be Hitler. And for years and years, I mean, like, there was always that question, like, would you kill baby Hitler? Like, if you could kill Hitler, would you? And the answer was always obviously yes. You know, if you could stop a genocide, why wouldn't you? So when the media is painting Trump and Elon to be anywhere close to Hitler, even though Hitler killed 6 million people, they've killed none. Hitler was a wartime dictator, while Trump and Elon are doing everything they can to make the American economy more efficient. Literally zero similarities, but the media loves to paint that picture because it's stuck. And why wouldn't you want to kill Hitler? It again just goes to say, like, the more they say, like, Trump and Elon are Hitler and Nazis, it's just like, why wouldn't you want to kill them in that scenario? They're obviously not Nazis and not Hitler, and the liberal left media pushing this agenda time and time again is one of the biggest problems in our nation. And I think that not only do they need to be held accountable, but there needs to be some sort of laws passed around propaganda in the United States, specifically propaganda to the American people by American-funded media. I really do not think it's okay. And not only is it not okay, but it's creating tensions and problems and violence in our nation. I do want to go on to our next topic. I want to talk about how the former White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, recently appeared on The View. And on The View, she addressed criticisms and concerns that we already knew on the conservative side. Liberals were denying this forever, but on the conservative side, it was more than obvious to us. So Karine Jean-Pierre, I'm just going to call her KJP for short, but KJP went on The View, and she talked about how she had zero communication with the Biden administration. She had zero communication with Biden and Harris, and like, they would literally just throw her to the wolves every time they threw her up there. It makes perfect sense to why she was so delusional time and time again up there, why she was so confrontational as well. But I'm going to pop this video up for you guys of her on The View, and we'll talk about it for a second right after.
Party needs to actually answer those questions that I put forth. Who are we and what are we fighting?
And how do we meet the moment?
How do we meet the moment?
Press secretary, you were also an assistant to the president, so that meant you were able to interact with the campaign off time.
Actually, I could not I had a special kind of role as the press secretary. I did not interact with it.
So you had as a commissioned officer.
I could not.
So you had no insight into the polling that showed he would have lost every
I did not because
Well, it does matter though.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. Hold on. We're going to take a break because you see this conversation getting going.
It's disgraceful to lie to the American people like the Biden regime did. To have a press secretary who doesn't even have communication with the president is despicable. Karine is just... I don't even know how to explain it. She was like a deer in headlights every time she was up at the podium. And it's such a stark contrast to right now, where you have Caroline Leavitt, who is not only consistently talking to President Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, but she's delivering just perfect recaps of what's going on and answering questions to the best of her ability to the American people. And it's extremely important we have someone in that position, in the press secretary position, delivering what needs to be said to the American people, because when KJP was there, it was just consistently, time and time again, not getting information, getting lied to, being gaslit, and her always getting into it with Peter Doocy as well. It was very embarrassing for the American people to sit there and watch that, to know that that was our White House at the time. And for her to go there on The View and even be able to admit that she had no interaction with the Biden White House. I'm sure she wasn't supposed to say much about that, but she had to save face a little bit. I mean, she couldn't just go and embarrass her entire career for Joe Biden, who's retiring, who doesn't care about any of this. I am very disappointed in the Biden administration for their picks with the press secretary. I'm very disappointed that they didn't communicate with their press secretary as well. But I'm very glad we're in a situation now where we have a press secretary who actually cares about the American people and is communicating with the president. With that, I want to go on to our next topic. We only have a couple more today. I do want to talk about some more trade tensions and tariff wars going on. There have been a ton going on recently, but just to keep you guys updated on a new one. So in response to the EU's 50% tariff on American-made whiskey, Donald Trump threatened a 200% tariff on French-made wine, champagnes, and spirits from the EU. I don't think that either will end up taking place. I think that the EU will end up removing their tariff on American-made whiskey, while Trump will end up removing the tariff on the wines and champagnes. I think over time, the majority of the tariffs we see getting placed now will get removed. A lot of them are either retaliatory or threatening tariffs, or tariffs to try and even the playing field, because we are being screwed over by a lot of different countries when it comes to trade. So as more information comes out on that, I will keep you guys updated for sure. But let's go on to our last topic today. For our last topic, I want to talk about something pretty wild. USAID has been instructed by leaders in their organization to burn and shred all classified materials. So this is fairly normal in, military instances, or, there's always certain situations within the government where they have, a plan ready to destroy and evacuate, all necessary and classified materials in the buildings to protect America, American citizens, American information and secrets. But when USAID, a government-funded organization who is very misleading, is shredding all their classified materials and burning their things as well, when DOJ is not only investigating them but auditing them too, it brings a lot of concerns. Most Americans are going to look at this and they're going to see fraud, waste, abuse, and they're going to see scams. They're going to see, why would you go and shred and burn documents if you're not guilty of anything? Why would you do it if you're not guilty of fraud, waste, abuse? Why would you do it if you're not guilty of anything beyond that? The only reason you would do it is if you were guilty of those things. This is a very just common thing. You don't protect yourself against things like that unless you're guilty of them for the most part. Most Americans aren't like shredding documents around their house unless they're trying to hide them. So I want to find more information on that. Right now we don't have a ton, but as we get more, I'm sure there will be a ton over this weekend. I'll keep you guys updated. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Today's Friday. I'll see you guys Monday. This has been America Unfiltered, episode 34. Thank you guys. Have a great day.